Hello YouTube, this is Neon, and the title of my talk today, well, I'm going to be doing another episode of From Coping to Thriving with Life, in which I talk about my personal life and how I'm doing just that. I'm going to be doing an update on my positive affirmations, which is something that constantly is evolving. I think I just said affirmations, but really it's visualizations or meditation. But before I do, really quickly, please be sure to click the little bell symbol just to the right of the subscribe button as soon as you click the subscribe button. That's the only way that you'll get all of the notifications is if you do both, as far as every time I upload a video. So, my visualizations help enrich my life in every way, shape, and form. It almost helps to enrich every aspect of my life. I know them as visualization, but it's probably the exact same thing as meditation. What I essentially do is I visualize sending and receiving love from other people, from myself, or from God, and occasionally from animals. This, slowly but surely, is helping to give me control over my thoughts. And it's been a slow process. This has been something that has been going on for years. And the improvements they're slow, but it's worth it. It's worth it. It's like we got to eat every day, so why not work on our diet, right? So I suffer from anthrophobia. It's one of the biggest issues with me is my mental health. And these visualizations or meditations, they help me with my mental health. They help me with impulse control, like having fits of anger when I spill something or drop something or bump into something, or something takes longer than I expected, or things don't work out the way that I want them to. My visualizations help me with being around excuse me, being around people, because I suffer from anthrophobia, which is the fear of people. How these visualizations work in a more detailed way would be that I visualize that people are sending, I call them love bubbles. They're like semi-transparent bubbles that have the word I love you on them. Okay, these bubbles, they hit my abdomen, they penetrate my abdomen, they create this source of electric energy that travels up my abdomen, torso, to my head, and it fuels a sign on my head that says I love you, or te amo, and that sign spins around so that now they can see that I'm telling them that I love them as well. And it's really helpful in public to be around people, because with anthrophobia, as I know it to be, a lot of it is about being like appearing to be normal around people, even though I always have a degree of discomfort when I'm around anybody in just about in any situation. So if I'm doing well, it's easy to be around people. If I'm not doing as well mentally, it's much harder, and I may have to just lock myself in my room for days at a time. So my visualizations help make it so that I don't have to be locked in my room. I can visualize sending and receiving love, and that gives me the ability to be around people. And to not behave in a way where people are like, why is he looking like that? Why does he seem like he's so uncomfortable? That just aggravates situations, or me having a bitchy attitude with people, right? Because I struggle with mental illness, my life is not easy, and it's tough being around people. Both of those are antisocial, and it's not good. My visualizations address this. Now, with my mental illness, having control of my thoughts is one of the biggest challenges with respect to my mental illness. So maintaining myself in this state where I'm visualizing at all times, these visualizations can be challenging. My mind can wander off. My mind can wander off to fear, and I can stop visualizing and instead be afraid of that person who's approaching me as I'm running or jogging or going to do shopping or out in public for whatever reason. That's been a constant challenge to maintain those visualizations. So the update really is that I've gone to these little word cues that help take my mind and put my mind back on the visualizations. And it can be I love yous, which represents what's written on these bubbles. It can be penetrate, which represents those bubbles penetrating my abdomen. It can be electricity or energy, that energy flow that lights up my sign. It can be the word sign. My goal ultimately, it is to be rich and famous and to be a philanthropist. So I've incorporated counting $100 bills, right? My $100 bills, not like counting the bank's $100 bill since I'm a teller, but counting my $100 bills. So I will use the word Ben's. I might use the word for Benjamins. I may use the word count. And all of these help bring my mind back to these visualizations when my mental health, my emotional health, depression, my fear, my anthrophobia, all these things will take my mind, my anger issues, take my mind off of these visualizations. These helps pull my mind back to these visualizations. There was this great Vietnamese monk who was on Oprah, and he said that he meditates at all times. He was a contemporary to Reverend Dr. King, and in fact had talked with and knew Reverend Dr. King before his assassination. And I believe this man is 80-something years old. And no disrespect to anybody's clergy. I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. But he is a really, really, really attractive man. I've never seen any guy in his 80s that looked so attractive. I'm just saying, meditation is like amazing. I don't mean this disrespectful to Buddhism, but he's a very handsome and attractive man who don't look like he's nothing in his 80s. Around the time of seeing that interview, sort of serendipitously, I had been asking myself, well, how often do I have to do these meditations, these visualizations? And when this wise Buddhist monk told Oprah that he meditates at all times, implying that even during that interview, he was meditating. Even as he's talking to her, he's also meditating. I became aware that I need to begin to do that and work towards doing that at all times. When I'm talking to people, when I'm addressing people, it affects the tone of my voice so that my voice doesn't come off as bitchy and disrespectful and angry and wanting to and just scratch their face, right? It affects, these visualizations affect my interactions with people in positive ways, as well as my patience with myself in positive ways, meaning I don't blow up so much when I'm not doing things the way I want to do them. As I said, this is an evolutionary process. It's slow. I stumbled across this years ago, probably like 5 years ago, and I tried different visualizations, and I just found that the I love you visualizations are the ones that work for me. I'm not telling you you should do these visualizations because to me they are corny, and I'm a little embarrassed to admit that these are the exact visualizations that I do, but it's the visualizations that I do. When I look into the lens, it's unnerving. It's not a comfortable feeling looking into this lens because I feel like I'm looking in your eyes right now. I really do, and it's not comfortable. If I visualize sending and receiving love to that lens from the person who's looking at me, it helps me maintain my thoughts towards my talk as I'm speaking. And I can look you in the eyes and feel comfortable, and it's a good thing. So, this affects, as I said, my anger. It helps affect me with my procrastination, with negative self-talks. And my goal is to do this at all times. And in fact, it's even helping me in terms of getting to know guys, because I would just be impatient when it came to hooking up, and some of these guys wanted what I want, which is more something serious, not just a hookup, not just sex. And these visualizations are helping me to be patient with them and to be willing to communicate by phone, by email, and take my time and not just jump in the bed. And some of these guys now that I've been communicating with for like a week or maybe a little longer than a week, I'm beginning to feel like, oh, we're almost like friends. I'm beginning to feel like I'm beginning to know them and that something could blossom someday. And I haven't had sex with them yet, right? So that's the update of my visualizations. They're very helpful. If you like my video, please like, subscribe, share, comment, commercial, recommend my video. Do one or more of those things. Thank you. Best wishes.